of Sharing the Light. Today I thought I would talk through one of the self-reflective processes that I go through every sort of 3 months, and that's using a tool called the Wheel of Life. Now, if you Google search online, there are lots of different versions of this tool, but here is the simple example that I use. Now, you can see in the version that I use, the wheel has been broken up into the 8 categories of health, spouse, relationship, spiritual, fun, financial, work, and leadership. These are the particular 8 categories that I find at the moment resonate quite well for me as a leader. But as I'm sure you can see if you look at the versions available online, there are plenty of other categories that can be utilized for this exercise. So now that you've got your wheel and you've got it broken up into the 8 categories, the next thing to do is to sit down and think about what is your level of satisfaction of where you are today with each of these categories and give it a score out of 10. Now, the important thing here when scoring these categories is to not fixate on what the definition of these categories are. It's to go with the first number that pops into your head. That's what I've found is generally a true reflection of my current level of satisfaction with that particular area of my life. So after going through the process of scoring each of these areas, I then graph them onto the wheel and end up with a result, for me, that looks like this. So now that I've got the completed wheel, I'll then ask myself a couple of questions. First question is, how balanced do I feel that my wheel is? How evenly do I think it actually spins? In looking at the wheel, where do I feel I need to put some more energy and focus? And finally, I sit down and think about looking at each element within that wheel, especially the elements that I'm not feeling satisfied with at the moment. What are my aspirations for that area? And really, what should I focus more on to improve my feeling about that particular area? So one of the great things that I get out of doing the Wheel of Life process is it gives me a short little snapshot of where I'm at, and also another way to look at different elements of my life and give me something to focus on for the next 90 days. Now, from my last assessment of the Wheel of Life, I was pretty low in relation to the scoring on my relationships with family and friends, and around my health. So one of the targets that I set for myself was to actually focus more on that over the next 90 days. So here actually is the outcome of my Wheel of Life over the past year, in which I've done this 4 times. And you can see as time has moved on, the wheel sort of ebbs and flows. But one of the things that I'm happier about is there's been a slight general improvement across the whole wheel out towards that sort of 10 mark. Now, of course, here the whole thing of this is just about trying to find ways to be more satisfied and happier with what you're doing. It's not about competing with somebody else. It's not about being self-delusioned about the fact that everything has to be a 10. It really is just trying to find areas to work on and improve on. And as I started out at the start of this video, for me this was just a nice self-reflective tool to give me a bit of a check at where I'm at and what I'm doing. So I hope that you can have a look at this type of tool, take it away, give it a go, and give it a go over a little bit of time, and hopefully you'll get some value out of it just in the same way I have. This has been Sharing the Light. Thank you very much.